Have you ever felt trapped? Many of you think about being stuck in quarantine. However, this does not compare to the many families and young children who are stuck in cages. Many families and young children are stuck in these detention centers. According to Merriam-Webster, a detention center is a place where a person who has illegally entered the country stays. Although I am not personally stuck in a detention center, I have done loads of research on this topic, and I am also a daughter of an immigrant family, and to see fellow immigrants being treated inhumanely and like animals simply because they are seeking asylum is quite disturbing. As a citizen of the United States, I make sure to keep myself updated into what the US government is doing. And I think that many other people need to know that the government is keeping people in cages. Today I will talk about why detention centers are used, how the people are treated within these detention centers, and a solution to remove these detention centers because they are quite frankly just purely inhumane. In order to further understand why they are used, you need to understand the history behind it. Today, there are 44,000 immigrants being held daily at these camps. The article, The History Behind the Border and Immigration Detention Centers, explains that in United States history, immigration was not considered something of a law enforcement issue. But recently, in 2011, immigration moved into the Department of Homeland Security. Now, what this means is that with them moving immigration into the Homeland Security, they moved it into a place where not a lot of laws can go through. Meaning that they specifically moved it into a place where these people can get away with quite some things due to law really not reaching it. In the same article, The History Behind the Border and Immigration Detention Centers, they explain that Donald J. Trump, our current president, has based his campaign to dehumanize these asylum seekers. These asylum seekers are not here to be drug dealers, robbers. They're simply seeking asylum from countries that are having violence, wars, and kidnapping their children. Author Miranda Jordan of U.S. Must Release Children from Family Detention Centers states that there are many children who are being brought here by their parents because there's lots of violence within their home country. This being said, parents are bringing their children to this country because they want to take them away from that violence environment. This does not mean that they are looking for anything more than just a place where they can be better and have better opportunities. Now that I have spoke to you about why they use these detention centers, I will go into how these people are treated because this is a key thing to why these detention centers need to be removed. These detention centers treat people like they are animals, very inhumane, like something that neither you or me have ever felt. In an article called CBP's Filthy and Inhumane Detention Centers Needed are Necessary by David here, explained that these detention centers are very unsanitary. And what this means is that these detention centers are not a 5-star hotel. They keep people within these cages and not to mention the amount of trash and a whole bunch of things that are just on the floor, and they simply have to sit there and take all of this because they have no other choice. In that same article called CBP's Filthy and Inhumane Detention Centers Needed, are necessary by David Greer. He explains that up until recently, 6 children have died, when way before immigration was into Homeland Security, this did not happen. What this means is that they have taken advantage of lawmakers not being able to put laws into that department. This means that something as basic as going to the bathroom or having toilet paper, something that you and I are very familiar with, they do not have. It means that these detention centers do not need to give them a piece of toilet paper, do not need to give them working toilets, which to us sounds crazy, but to them it's their reality. With this being said, I will not talk about a solution on how to remove these detention centers. How many of you have gone to a protest? In this year alone, 2020, we have seen people go to protest and have justice for things that are injustice. We need to get protests out there. We need to get petitions signed. We need people to understand that there's people being held in cages, as well as getting people to vote. Another thing that we need to do is get legislation passed. This meaning that we need to get the House of Representatives to pass a law with or without the president, because the president has a long history with this issue. In conclusion, I would like you to know that detention centers are inhumane and they need to be removed. Thank you.